I decided for episode 20 that we would do a refresher video in regards to the corrupt and manipulative actions of realtors and how they use your property and land to enrich their lives and how it hurts you guys as buyers and sellers. Now, the story I'm going to tell you today actually is a story about farmland. And some of you may be saying, well, what does a property inspector know about farmland? And you are correct in saying that, because property inspectors don't have anything to do with the sale of farmland. We do have stuff to do with acreages and farms when there's a house on it and that property is being sold. But when it comes to actual farmland, we have nothing to do with it. Now, I have kept my ear to the streets for my entire career, and I do have a number of stories in regards to the sale of farmland, and we're going to use one specific one today to again refresh you guys in regards to how realtors use your property to enrich their lives and how that hurts you guys as buyers and sellers. Okay guys, just a quick little whiteboard explanation here so that I can show you what happened on this farm deal. So what we have here is we had a $4 million piece of farmland, and farmland, the commission is typically 2% commission. Now, when I use the term typical, I'm just using an average. You can obviously negotiate commissions however you want with realtors, but a typical commission structure for farmland would be 2% of the total value of the sale. So on a $4 million piece of farmland, the commission is going to be $80,000. And as I've explained to you guys in previous videos, there's always a seller side and a buyer side of the commission. So each side is going to get $40,000. $40,000 for the seller side, $40,000 in commission for the buyer side. So what ended up happening on this deal was these sellers, realtors over here, they already know that they're getting the seller side because they're the ones that have listed the property for the farmer that owns the land, right? So here's the seller's realtor. Now, they also had a buyer, and then there were 3 other realtors apparently. There could have been a couple more, but from what I understand, there was 3 other realtors that also had buyers. Now, what ended up happening here was the seller's realtor, who was representing the seller, also had a buyer for this farmland. And because they are always looking to try and double end commissions so that they can increase the amount of money they're going to make, what they did is they tried to ignore all of these offers from these buyers here. They ignored phone calls, texts, and emails so that they could get the offer from their buyer signed by the seller so that they could get both sides of the commission. Now, from what I gather, one of these realtors got smart about this because they know this stuff goes on. And what they did is they said, well, heck this, I'm not gonna sit around and let this happen. They're ignoring my text, emails, and phone calls. I'm gonna get in my vehicle with the offer that my buyer has signed, and I'm gonna drive it down to their office, and I'm gonna force them to provide me with a receipt that I know that has been presented to the seller. So as you can see here, these realtors that were representing the seller were ignoring all of these offers down here so that they could try and get the seller to sign an offer from their buyer. Now, this is hurting everybody involved, these buyers down here, and it's hurting the seller, because if these offers are not presented to the seller that owns the land, then there's no possible way to drive the price up. On top of that, these people don't have a chance to buy this land. And so everybody is being hurt in this situation, except for these people right here and that buyer right there. But these sellers, realtors, are the root problem of this situation. Okay guys, so just a little bit of summary here for any farming families across Saskatchewan or Canada for that matter. If you guys are selling your land, as you can see from what I just showed you on that whiteboard, be very mindful about who is bringing an offer to you. If it's your realtor that you listed your farmland with that's bringing you an offer, well, there's a possibility that they are withholding other offers to try and get you to sign the offer that they are bringing to you from their buyer so that they can double in the commission. If you guys want episode 1 of the series that was all 6 months back, we did a very similar video that we did today, but it was in regards to actual residential real estate. Well, you farming families can learn from that video too, because it'll help you to see how realtors are manipulating situations. And for the rest of you that don't own farmland, that own just residential or commercial real estate, today's a great refresher. Just as I said, if you go back to episode 1, that I did 6 months ago, you guys can really learn things about how realtors are manipulating situations so that they can make more money. And what they're doing is they're taking advantage of you guys. You know, people use their homes, their commercial properties, and the farmland that they spent their lives working for and paying for. They use that to either supplement or to maintain their retirement. And when people go to sell this stuff, realtors are taking advantage of people for their own benefit, and it's wrong. And unless somebody like myself with a backbone stands up and does something about this, nothing's ever going to get done, because Real estate professionals, especially realtors, know that this stuff goes on. It's been going on for decades and no one has done anything. So I guess it's on me to do something about it. Okay guys, well that's a wrap on episode 20, which by the way is a bit of a milestone episode for Real Estate Uncovered. That's 20 episodes over the last 6 months. I just took a couple minutes here before recording this clip to calculate the number of views, and across Facebook and TikTok, all of you have helped me attain 2.7 million. That's right, 2.7 million views across Facebook and TikTok over the last 6 months and 20 episodes. So thank you from the bottom of my heart for liking, commenting, sharing, and just simply viewing the videos. Thank you. As always, knowledge is power, and we'll see you on the next one.